Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to be the Environment Council of Rhode Island. Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to discuss with you and listen to your concerns and explain my vision for the environment protections and how that fits and starts with economic progress in Rhode Island. Economic security has many faces: jobs, housing, lower taxes. Today and every day we focus on clean, renewable energy, water, and a food chain free from pesticides. These are the environment conditions people want for their families and for the future generations, and it's my focus and why I'm running for governor of Rhode Island, as I intend to win this Democratic primary. I fight for these basic of human conditions and fair rules of the road, so there is a penalty for politicians playing politics with economic conditions, consumer spending, jobs, and the welfare of people regarding environmental protections and national security. Reducing CO2, clean food and water, and attracting new business to Rhode Island. Retaining our best and brightest has been on the top of all our agenda for many years now, but has had little satisfactory progress in action due to many elected offices politicizing and using their power competing to play politics with schools, pensions, and illusions that political dynasty aligned with Wall Street and an old boy network and money can solve our problems. This divide is putting us at risk in our communities and our businesses, our families, and leading to greater political instability. Continued 9% unemployment, but here it's dipping down a bit, but we all know that there's many underemployed people here in Rhode Island. This is restricting all our ability to focus on investment in Rhode Island to grow our economy and bridge the skills gap. I fear that protections for the environment will fall by the wayside if we fail to take an organic look at our politics and leaders. Remember when acid rain was an alarming finding just 20 years ago, and now we're faced with issues to remain vigilant on LNG, so there's no pipeline in our bay, oil spills, Alaska, Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana Delta, antibiotics in our water supplies, organics for water runoff, PCBs, radiation, Fukushima, it's all around us. Rhode Island is looking for a new executive officer. Will that be someone who is known to negotiate away our freedoms, our pensions and protections earned in your lifetime, telling you that everything is a #1 priority, or someone aligned with other ways of old money politicizing issues we bought and paid for dinner? I am the homegrown organic candidate. I'm not afraid to stand up to the political machine. I was not born and bred into it. I've watched our state sink further into decline in jobs and economy, and I don't want to see the environment progress go backwards due to corporate takeover in America. I'm the only candidate leading the conversation of economic recovery to a jobs plan and a way to pay for it. When you hear other candidates talk about revolving funds, and yet on the other hand you say I'm a minor candidate in this race, I have driven this point home for revolving funds in Rhode Island. I am paving the way for $1 billion of investment in Rhode Island. Every candidate in this race is now talking about revolving funds, green banks, and a way to pay for it. I'm in construction, I understand jobs, labor, and I understand there needs to be a way to pay for it. Homeowners are in desperate need of these vital repairs for energy efficiency. Let me give you an example of how to make an effective change now today. We have 3 4-family houses here in the state. There's 4 heating systems in the basement of a home. How come there can't be one furnace that distributes and meters all that generation of CO2? How come there can't be one piece of equipment that meters and provides heat to that home? Why do we need 4 furnaces per every piece of property in an urban area? It's unnecessary. Alongside with that, how come we can't have utilizing boat technology, hydraulic systems? How come we can't have a little furnace this big, pumping the heat through the home in the spring and the fall? I understand we need high HV systems in the middle of the cold winter, but in the spring and fall, there's got to be a way to create energy efficient ways of moving the heat through the home, and I think we should utilize all available technology to do that. As governor, it's my #1 concern. When I was a kid in college, I used to say, geez, why are we throwing all this into the landfill? Why can't we reclaim it somehow? And now this new technology of thermal depolymerization, I want to bring that to the landfill. Our landfill phase 1 is within, a quarter mile of a Superfund site. It's endangering our drinking water. We need a better way. We cannot just keep piling the trash up higher and higher and covering it over. It doesn't work. So again, I say Rhode Island's looking for a new executive officer. Is that going to be someone who negotiates away all our freedoms, pensions, and protections that we've earned? I don't see it that way. My family was born here, I was born here, and my family before them. Our history is strong with resistance to not be told what to do, how, and when. Think for yourselves and join me in this fight to protect people and our environment. As governor, I know advocacy and actionable defense of our environment, standing up to corporate influence and protecting our bay is the most important resource for future generations. I have a boat, and I've traveled Lake Michigan. It's a beautiful and clean place. But you go to a town like Alpena, Michigan. Sorry, world, Alpena, Michigan's on the spot right now. But you bring your boat into that harbor, and the water is gray, it's gross. It's just offensive when you have that level of industry. So our partners in industry need to be part of the solution. There's scrubber technology out there. It's available, and it needs to be implemented. We need an army of folks concerned about this and bringing it to the neighborhoods of our state. And, it doesn't take a 4-year degree to bring awareness to this issue and work in that industry. So I believe that we need a leader to stand up to that industry and corporate influence to bring home those dollars to Rhode Island. Remember this from driver's ed? 300 gallons of air to burn 1 gallon of gas. That's real. And so every nuclear test, everything that drives, we've done the research. Why do countries have to continue to test these things? We're burning up our oxygen. It's leading to deforestation. That's what I talk about. I talk about bringing home a revolving fund for this so that we don't have to create new bonds, so that we can't offer low interest rates of paying for these jobs and infrastructure programs.
Thank you, Mr. Giroux.